Glen Geher is our next speaker, and I love this man. In fact, I've told him that he's going to be my 6th future ex-husband. Yeah, you think so? You think your wife's going to like that idea? Okay, professor of psychology and evolutionary studies at SUNY New Paltz, founding member of Move On New York. Writes for Psychology Today, including many articles related to gun violence in America, and he is mad as hell at the current national situation. So I set him loose on you.
So I'm here representing Move Forward New York. I just want to say Deborah Clinton, who's the founder of our organization, was not able to be here today, but I was thrilled to talk with Johnny and be able to speak to this issue. And I got to say, Indivisible CD19 under Johnny's leadership has been awesome. So thank you so much for organizing this. And together, we are going to be the resistance, and we are going to make the change that we all need. The change has to happen at the next generation. We've already failed the next generation, and that's an unfortunate truth. I recently, in my role with Move Forward New York, have worked to create a younger group called Move Forward New York Next Generation. In fact, we were fortunate to have my friend Brian Flynn, who I see in the back, come speak with the kids the other day. We were looking at kids in middle school and high school, college-age kids, because these are the people that are going to have to get us out of this mess. And I am doubling down on that generation. And where's my friend Ian? Ian, that means you.
Yeah.
So thank you so much for being part of it.
Thank you.
So I don't know about you, but I am tired of learning about new, senseless acts of gun violence in the United States on a regular basis. I don't want to hear that 17 bright young people got gunned down by a maniac in a public school on Valentine's Day with a legally purchased military-grade weapon. I'm tired of looking at charts showing that deaths resulting from gun violence in the United States of America are off the scale compared with any other nation in the developed world.
Yeah, that's right.
I don't want to live in a place where there are 30,000 people a year who die from gunfire. And I'm wicked tired of hearing from politicians saying that this issue is complicated. Because it is not complicated, and we all know that. The gun violence crisis in the United States is a uniquely American problem. I'll tell you about 1996. In 1996, there was an awful thing that happened in Scotland, similar to Parkland. There was a shooter. 17 people died, mostly kids in elementary school. In Australia that same year, there was a mass shooting, a maniac with a military-level gun, killed 35 people. Both of those countries immediately put in incredibly stringent and sensible gun control laws, and across those two countries, since 1996, there's been one school-related shooting since then. Think about that. That same year, 1996, the United States Congress passed the Dickey Amendment, making it so that we are not allowed to study gun research or fund it through the national government. That is pathetic.
There's a reason it's called the Dickey.
Yes, there's a reason it's called the Dickey Amendment. I totally agree with that. So, I'm an academic, and when I see a problem, I like to think about what is the root of the problem, where did this come from? So, here's a little story about the history and the science of our gun problem. The gun violence problem in the United States clearly goes back to the Second Amendment of the Constitution. Okay, so I've become interested. What is the Second Amendment all about? Where did this come from? My research turned up an article published in the UC Davis Law Review in 1998, a very high-impact academic article titled "The Secret History of the Second Amendment." Okay, I'm going to read that. It turns out, and there's plenty of evidence provided in that article, that one of the primary motivations of the Second Amendment was to allow slaveholders the opportunity to keep control over slaves. And there is plenty of evidence to support that particular thesis. And I looked at that, I'm like, my God, that's disgusting. So as a social scientist, I said, well, I can easily test some follow-up ideas, some hypotheses related to this. If that's the case, then that means that we should expect attitudes in the southern states regarding guns to differ from attitudes in the northern states. So I looked up data from the Gifford Gun Violence Prevention website. And I looked at the 13 original states, the 13 original colonies, the northern states and the southern states. Every single state is rated on an A to F scale in terms of how good or how bad their gun laws are. There is no overlap whatsoever. The northern states all pass and the southern states all fail. And that is today. The gun-related laws that stand in these states today directly reflect the history of slavery.
Yeah.
Related to that, the levels of gun violence in each state maps perfectly onto their gun laws.
Yes, exactly.
So if you want to know where this problem came from, it goes all the way back to the most shameful thing about the history of our nation. Having that amendment guide gun laws in this nation is nothing short of insane. Implementing common sense gun laws should not be so complicated. The problem, of course, is politics. I was watching C-SPAN a few weeks ago. I felt like my dad. Our congressional representative went on record saying that the gun issue is an issue of states' rights. With all due respect, that is, as Johnny would say, a bag of garbage. The kids across every state of this nation,
Swear too much, I know.
kids in every state have the right to feel safe in school. School safety is an inalienable right.
Yes.
And outlawing military-grade weapons is in the interest of our entire nation. So anyone who says that this is a state issue is just dodging the question, pulling a distraction, and we are all too smart for that. In that same C-SPAN interview, John Faso downplayed the fact that he has taken thousands of dollars in campaign donations from the NRA, saying, well, I took some, but it's really a drop in the bucket. Okay, so let me show you this. I found this near my seat. This is a penny. This is too much money to take from the NRA, right here. The NRA is a terrorist organization. One of their primary goals is to maintain inhumane gun laws that exist in the United States. Elected officials who are beholden to the NRA do not stand for the people of the United States of America, and they must be voted out. So on the heels of these concerning ideas, I'll tell you that we do have reason for hope. And this morning, I saw plenty of reason for hope. There were more than 7,000 of us on the walkway over the Hudson today telling the world that we are going to change things. When I see the kids across the Hudson Valley who've become involved in the political process as a result of how crazy and outlandish this country's gotten, because they want to shape the future, I have hope. When I think about Emma Gonzalez of Parkland, Florida, who put a United States senator in his place in front of the entire world, I have hope. As an activist, as an educator, I have become increasingly convinced that the most important thing that we can do to help cultivate and educate the next generation of leaders.
Yes.
So I'll say, in closing, I have no doubt that years from now, people are going to look back at the gun laws in the United States with disbelief, and they're going to shake their heads.
That's right.
Look around you now, right here, today, in Club Helsinki. Do you know who we are? We are the people who are on the right side of history, and don't ever forget that. And thank you.